Yes, I'm in a different time zone. I'm in the twilight zone. No, bang bang. Yeah, I'm like an hour behind you. But I'm caught up in this dimension here. Hello, can anyone hear me? Test. No, I was just checking this thing out, man. I found some more evidence out there in the woods. I didn't mean to. I wound up winding up on the dead gum Indian mounds. They're not really Indian mounds. They're actually serpent heads, but on a massive scale. But it looks like an Indian mound. The thing's like, I don't know, over 100 foot tall. I guess from one side of the base to the other side of the base is probably like, I don't know, man, 1,500 foot. It's massive. Oh, I don't have my YouTube pulled up, so my stuff's gonna be behind. What's going on, Kim? Yeah, yeah, I went out there. I made a video of it. It's hard to show. Man, this thing sounds weird. It's just hard to show. How steep something is and how high you are up on it. But it's like it's massive. And then I found a tree that I guess somebody cut and it was hollow, right? But it'd been like laying down for, I don't know, decades. And there's a path going to it. And this thing was big enough you could get two adults in it. You know what I mean? It'd be a good survival spot. But I was like, oh, shoot. And then I come across another mound and I climbed to the top of it. And there's this weird growing tree. What's going on, Paris? It had a limb that was a limb and a tree. I mean, it was actually in the ground. The limb was actually coming from the other tree and went down. I mean, it was like 30, 40 foot long and went into the ground and rooted again. I'm like, man, there's some weird stuff up there, man. I called it the snake roots. It looks like a bundle of snakes. It's a tree that fell over, decades ago. And I guess the roots they got bark on them. It's weird. It was like the roots tried to stay alive. Super Dave 44. Yeah, I went out and visited the Indian mounds, which, well, I'll just call them Indian mounds. And I guarantee you, they're the biggest in North America. The daggum Pinson Mounds, they claim to be the second biggest, or they are the biggest, I think. And it's a little bitty old thing. The sucker here. There's so many deer out there. I come up on about 20 of them. Then a little bit later, I come up on about 10 of them. And it was like a highway back there, man. Just the deer paths. It was crazy. And then, I found a daggum. I saw like a little fawn print, right? And then at first I thought dog track, right? I stopped. I'm like, wait a minute. I didn't see any claw marks. So I looked back down there. And I looked. And I couldn't really, because you can tell on the back padding that goes right there, And I couldn't really tell. But I definitely saw there weren't any claw marks. And that thing was like that big around. That's crazy. Ouija should come with me. It was a pretty good walk. We walked about probably a total of 5 miles. I went totally around because I know I'd already been on one side of this mound. I'm telling you, man, it's like you would need 10 acres to set this in the middle of it. You know what I mean? It's big. It takes up like, if you could have, 2.5 square acres cubed up into four cubes to equal, wouldn't that be 10? Yeah, that'd be 10 acres. It'd take up that much room. They're big, man. I don't know if I ought to post them up or not. Hey, Sewer Dave, you still out there? You want to come up? You want to come up? I'll throw that daggone link out there. I'm just, man, look, I could be out here filming these things up in the sky right now, but I'm out of memory, and I'm just tired of doing those. They're there all the time. They've been there year after year after year. Yeah. And then I'm finding these holograms and these rocks. And it's showing history. It's showing maps of dadgum Africa. It's showing the fossilized dragon that stretches across Morocco. You know what I mean? That thing, ain't getting no views. I mean, this is like Dead Sea Scroll. This should be like they found life on another planet news. It's groundbreaking, man. These rocks tell a story, tell a history in every language there is, because all you gotta do is use your eyes to look at them. Yeah, it's crazy. I'm going cuckoo. I don't know if the chat's working or not. Can y'all hear it? Uh-oh. Did I enter another reality again? I'm telling you, it's like, this is worse than Groundhog Day. I wake up doing stuff backwards sometimes. It's like I'm on the other side of the mirror. Y'all ever feel like you're on the other side of the mirror? I mean, it's crazy. It happens to me once in a while. It sure is creaky down here in this dungeon. Oh, you're driving, Super Dave. That ain't never stopped you. I'm kidding. You know what's weird? When I used to live stream or, do any, hell, let me get out of that echo thing. But I got a sit down chair that's got arms on it, right? And it creaks the same way as this bar stool chair does. It's weird. So it always sounds like I'm in the same chair, but I'm not if I'm over there. But that's where I usually keep the desktop. Oh, I don't know. What y'all want to talk about? It is Saturday, isn't it? I thought I saw the chat move, but it didn't. But yeah, man, I did find some rocks over there. And that's where whatever I put on my community page today was from what I found today over there. That actually I would get better rocks over here. It's kind of my little secret rock pile thing over there is kind of. We've had so much rain, man. Everything's getting covered up. Leaves are piling up, dirt, mud. But I did find the daggum eye, but it was a little bit cooked, but it's, like the ones I get the stories out of. But that thing's like the size of the meteorite. I don't know, man. My views have gone down, and I'm like, well, is it because people don't like looking at the? I mean, these are like works of art, pictures that are only stones, man. And not only that, I'm telling you, somehow or another, that is the neutrino residue, and it's leaving pictures and layers. I don't know. It's just that's fabric of time because we all exist on time. We're always going forward into the future. It's just hard for people to grasp that sometimes. Oh man. But yeah, I don't get it, man. But I did find the snake head or I don't know whether to call them serpent heads, snake heads, but I know it's the hydra. It's not the daggum. I don't know if the hydra was a red dragon, but it's a serpent. It's not a dragon. It's a serpent. But I think it's still. I don't know. And what's weird is I don't know, man. I ain't showed those yet, have I? Y'all know that video I did where it shows it biting the thumbnail or whatever, and the end of the thumb starts falling off. Well, that's up there, where I say the control panel is, and the dude's driving the ship. Well, on that African map that's on that stone, it kind of shows that, and it replicates bigger. But I cannot do what I need to do to show y'all. I don't have the computing capabilities using this phone, you know what I mean? Phone sucks. I just need a computer where I can get OBS on there. I'm half tempted. Maybe I ought to scrap out this tablet. This laptop. Go ahead and I know I can put a certain Windows on this Chromebook and make it act like a regular computer. But you got to have somebody that knows how to do binary code and sit there and reprogram it for the mouse and all that stuff. It's like you change the mind of the laptop. Oh, we got Mike Smith in the house. How's it going? What? Yeah, no, man. Look, my daggum views were shooting up and shooting up. Excuse me, my watch time hours, and it was kind of weird. It's like my views went up. A lot, and the watch time hours went down. I'm like, well, how is that? If the views are going up, how the watch time hours going down? Unless people aren't watching but 2 seconds. I guess maybe I don't know. But then all of a sudden, the views time started going up, and then the views kept going up, and it was like it was 10,000, almost 10,000 views in 28 days. But yet, right now, everything's dropping, and I'm like, how is that possible? Which I'm not worried about that because usually I can put a video out, and there's at least 128 people that'll watch it. But now it's kind of, I don't know, man. You put something out about, you put a crappy video out about some helicopters going over in that thing. It's 300 in a few days. I don't know if it's 300, but it was over 200. Over 224 hours. I'm like, that's crazy. And you put groundbreaking world shaking news out there about, you know, the African map being in a stone, and that stone was three skulls that were crushed together, that were skulls within skulls. Looked like, I don't know, man. I've got so much video proof, and something ain't working. Let me try that. I noticed before the chimes would be choppy because this thing act like it turned the mic off. And the only way I can really keep the mic on, I gotta put a little reverb in there. But then people are like, "But John Boy," oh, it won't do it here. "But John Boy, you're echoing." Well, that's because I'm in another dimension. But it's fixing to get rainy again here, man. And you know what else is weird? These snakes I'm seeing on all these rocks, and they're like sculptured into the rocks, or they're impressions or images of them in the rocks. They got the same head shape and everything as that one that fell on my shoulder that time. Yeah. And the same pattern. It's the same ones that went after that daggum hummingbirds. Oh, okay, Dave. I'm sorry. I didn't. I can't see the. You know. Not that I can't see it. Well, I can't see it, but I wasn't paying attention. I'm terrible that way. But yeah, um, I threw the link out there, Dave. Yeah, man, I was starting to figure out that OBS studio so good, and I was like, man, and I was able to start editing. I learned I could edit my videos in there, and that's when I was like, it was so easy. But my internet connection down here sucks. It really does now since they went to the 5 letter, the 5 to the G, the 5 to the G, man. Oh yeah, look, I'd like. Oh, I got a bunch of paint cans around here, and those things pop here and there. So one of them freaked me out earlier. Well, it sounded like somebody crashed in my mailbox, and me and Ouija jumped up and ran outside, and I ran to the end of the driveway because I wanted to catch whoever it was, but there wasn't nobody there. I'm like, man. So I was like, well, maybe a limb fell out and hit, shop or something. I'm gonna make this thing a little bigger. I don't know why my screen is bordered black, or if that's just how it is. Like I said, I'm just running on the StreamYard. I've been using StreamYards for 4 years now since they dropped Hangouts on air, and I had no other way to stream other than Hangout or whatever. Y'all get my drift. Man, I'm telling y'all, man, this reality bubble we're in, and that's what I'm going to call it from now. The Earth is a reality bubble. And within this reality bubble, there's another reality bubble. And outside of this Earth reality bubble is another bubble that's got other bubbles in it. We're a daggum Coca-Cola, man. Just pop the top. That's what we are. All them little bubbles. It's crazy. It is so crazy. Yeah, I'm just chilling out. It's a nice sunny day. Been up in the 80s the last 2 days. I gotta take a break from. I really need to get the welder out and stuff and finish up my auger bit. I was building a homemade 6-inch auger bit for like fence posts and stuff. Let's see, what'd you say in there? You're up there in Kentucky. Y'all got a pyramid right across the Tennessee line there somewhere. I found out in the Smoky Mountain in the northern part of Tennessee there, and I guess Kentucky, the Egyptians, man, were here 7,000 years ago. And the Aztec. And it's kind of odd. That's all the images I find in the clouds and the rocks and the coal and the meteorite. Uh-oh. We got Super Day 44 in the house. What's going on, Super Day?
How you doing, John boy?
I'm doing fine. How are you doing? How you been doing, Dave?
I don't think you have the signal strength, man.
I hear you.
You don't have the signal strength. The Wi-Fi.
I hear you, Super Dave. Yo, are you still there? I hit the wrong button. Yeah, I got sorry signal around here. Maybe that'll help. Just the phone a little bit. Can y'all hear me? Did y'all hear Super Dave? I have no idea where Jellicoe is. You're probably on the eastern side. So I don't go across the Tennessee River. I mean, I have, but I've done all my roaming around has been West Tennessee and that part of Kentucky on that end, and Missouri and all of Arkansas. I like Arkansas, but that I just hated the state back when I was visiting. When I was in Arkansas, Bill Clinton was the governor. Ronald Reagan was the president. And then when I got out of Arkansas, Bill Clinton became president. So that's why I know. But Arkansas is gorgeous, man. They got, I don't know, it's just hard to explain you know, how it's formed. Because I've been a rock hound. I hate that. I know rocks probably bore people. But when you start finding stuff that starts showing holographic images that change, and then you can turn it a little bit, and you'll get a whole different. It's like turn into another chapter on a book, man. These things are like history crystals. I don't know. It's just crazy. It's just wow. It's unbelievable. But yeah, bang bang. Hey, bang bang. Hit the link. Come up. You don't have to turn your camera on. See how I don't really. I hate it on camera. I think the last picture I had, other than having to get them for the driver's license, the last pictures I remember getting taken of me still could, take the film to the 1 hour photo shack. Hell, Mike, come on up. Somebody shoot up in here amongst us. One of us needs some relief. Oh, man. I know I had to worry with you. I know we walked for about, man, I don't know. It was, up a lot. Of, these mountains are daggone steep, man. I guarantee you we walked almost probably 5 miles. It's been about 2 hours out there, maybe. It's like an average 4 mile an hour walking, so it's... Hey, Super Dave, you were up here, and I could hear you. I mean, I don't know. I could hear you, though. You were up here on the panel. Yep, that light went out. Oh, it's cute. I wish they had the strike anywhere matches. They don't anymore. Because those things, the tip of them, the white tip was phosphate. Man, and that stuff, you could sit there and use a spark plug, and you take that center electrode out. It took a certain spark plug, and you put a couple heads of those, the white tips down there, and put the electrode in it. And what you did, you had a clothes hanger that you put on the. Okay, we got Bang Bang. Is that you, Bang Bang?
It's me. Can you hear me?
Well, how you doing? Yeah, yeah.
I'm
Can
totally
you
not
hear me?
presentable.
Well, me neither.
But Dolly is. But Dolly's presentable, so I'll show her.
What's going on?
Well, I was pretty intrigued about that post that you caught of that little guy in the cave.
Yeah.
It looks completely reptoid to me. And I sent
Well,
you a
that's
link.
okay. On what?
What do you mean?
Where'd you send a link to?
I sent it.
You leave it.
I responded to your comment.
Oh, okay. All right.
And I sent you a link to another video that shows the same kind of reptoid head.
Okay. I got another picture of it, and it looks different. It looks like it has turned around, and it's got a table sitting there. And on top of the table, it looks like it's shiny, like silver. But the way I looked at it, it's like I wonder if that's one of these mirror lenses things. It's just crazy.
It is crazy.
But yeah, I mean, I've come to the conclusion of where I'm at, and I can't understand why nobody's paying attention.
Hey,
Cause like,
oops, sorry.
oh, you're all right.
Did G Will ever contact you?
No.
I've left several messages with him.
Well, I don't need contacted anyhow.
Um,
Because I'm starting to figure out if I sit there and put forth my effort and try to get a hold of people,
Dolly,
and they sit there and don't respond or, shoo me away, I understand what's up.
I mean, I don't think he's trying to shoo you away. I think he's
Oh,
just
no.
really hard to get a hold of because he doesn't.
I don't know.
He's a tough cookie.
Well, my deal is the stuff he's saying, how can I put it? I had to tell my neighbor this the other day. He was trying to get down into the deepest detail of it, and I'm like, "Look, dude, we ain't counting the freckles on each frog. We're trying to see how many frogs we have. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I'm way past how many freckles that frog's got and that frog's got. I need to know which is the biggest frog out of all these.
Which is the biggest frog of them all,
Yeah, I'm just using that for a example.
right?
Get past, and then he's into the political stuff, and he's talking about stuff that I already knew a year ago. I'm like, dude, come on, you're counting freckles again.
Right. And I can't tolerate, I know, I can't tolerate any kind of political stuff. It's just to divide and it's annoying.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, it's smoke and mirrors. They do that to distract you from looking for the truth. If you spend time paying attention to that, you're missing out on John Boy finding daggum holographic eyeballs.
Right.
If I had the equipment, I could sit there and show. I mean, what I'm seeing in real life, I don't have enough video memory left, to do a video. But
Can you see this?
yeah. Oh, hang on. Let me get you on full screen.
Hold on a minute.
You know what? I'm gonna turn my camera off to save them. Oh, yeah.
It's a biggie.
Man, have you shined light through it?
I'm actually trying to, but
No, I mean, look, this is the
like
problem. You get direct sunlight. You don't have any today, I see,
I wish we had it.
but
This
that
is a
one's a little
huge,
bit too clear. You might need to have sunglasses on.
I know. It's our first warm day. I can't, this is a big piece of hematite.
See, I don't even know what's a hematite. I'm not
I
really
don't
a
know.
geologist. Is
It's
a
just
hematite
really heavy.
okay?
Um, there's a whole bunch. I got a whole bunch
Yeah.
of stuff.
Oh, that's cool right there.
I don't know if you can see that.
Well, let me ask you something. Have you looked to see if you see like, oh, I see it there on the end. Yeah. I see that guy everywhere.
I don't know if you can see.
It's hard to get the light right. Yeah.
I don't know.
See, they can't look. Everything I've got on mine is going to be on those. I promise you. Get the light right. Get your camera out and zoom in on it, and just look at it through the camera like it's a microscope.
Oh shoot, it's just not working.
Yeah, the light. But where'd you get those?
You know what? I've had them since like 30 years.
Yeah, you found them?
Yeah,
Yeah, that's cool. Where'd you find them at?
this is something I have no idea what it is. I think it's a petrified acorn,
It's, it's a petrified whiskey barrel.
right?
See if
Like,
it's got a bong hole in it. I'm for real. Look, I got petrified helmets with remains in them. I'm serious. They look like motorcycle helmets. You can see the airlines. You can see where the front visor shattered and went in and is stuck in its face.
this is
Yeah,
something
see,
petrified. I don't know what it is.
it's a cube. You know those cubes we see in the sky and stuff? You
Yeah,
know those cubes that Gina sees and stuff?
yeah.
Well, that's one of them petrified. I'm telling you, whatever you're seeing in the sky, you can find an individual piece of that, or if you can find the right crystal stone, it'll show all of it. And if it's just right, it'll show like an oil painting story that, I mean, actually changes before your eyes.
I
You
have
can take a
no
snapshot. If you can get a good picture of something and take a picture of it and just look at that picture for
stuff.
about 3 minutes, it'll move on you and do stuff.
I believe you. This is something weird. I don't know what it is.
Yeah.
Some sort of crystal structure that I don't even know where I obtained it.
Oh, I know what it is. Look, you see the face and the end of it?
Uh-huh.
That's the front of that ship in the clouds. Everything, you can relate all that back to the clouds. You can take that outside now, and you can tell when the system's coming in. That's the very point of it.
So weird.
Out of the bigger part. I mean, this thing is big. It goes, it goes as big as you can imagine and as small as you can imagine. We're looking at the residue of the fabric of reality. I think our present is still in the past, or we wouldn't be seeing the stuff in the sky. That is evil right there. Where'd you find that?
I have no idea.
That thing there is the you know who. See the
It's
snakes coming out of its nose? No, I'm serious. I saw that.
it's some sort of amethyst.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So I'm telling y'all, man, daggum rocks, stones, crystals, that stuff, they will hold memory.
Right.
Now, crystals hold it better than, a stone would. A stone would be like a rough outline. But a crystal, it would probably have some greater detail, but you'd have to figure. See, that's what I'm trying to figure out. I need to make something that can produce different light spectrums and put like yellow light through it, blue light, red light, because it might take a certain blend of the spectrum. I've thought about getting a laser.
Actually, you know what? I tried to get a green laser online. I can't find green lasers anywhere. And I
Really,
bought one on Amazon and I got it the other day and it doesn't work. It just
really,
takes AAA batteries, but it doesn't work.
man, you got my luck.
So be careful buying lasers on Amazon.
Well, yeah. I've never bought anything on Amazon, I don't believe. For some reason, I don't like going to Walmart either.
I don't either. I don't
Trader
like to be on
Trees,
camera.
how you doing? I don't either. That's why I don't mind. Oh, you want me to take you off the screen like that? You can put it on icon if you want.
Who, me?
Yeah, I mean you don't have to unless you just want to film.
Oh, I'm just showing Holly and Dolly for now. They don't mind.
It's a wiener dog, isn't it?
Yeah. Wiener and a little bit of this and that.
Their hips and stuff go bad when they get older, and you got to start. I knew people that had them, and they made steps for them so they could climb up in the bed and stuff.
She is old. These two are 13 or 14.
Yeah, I got to where mine. She's only 8, but I'm picking her up and putting her on the bed, and I'm setting her down because I'm like, man, she's my age now.
In human years, yeah.
Kinda, yeah. I mean, she's up there,
Oh,
and
I love Ouija.
yeah,
Ouija.
she's a good. She named herself.
How? I forget.
Well, she picked me out of the litter of puppies,
Oh, right, right.
right? And then I tried calling her like Princess and Precious, and I'm trying to find a good spot to have my mic at. But she was just crazy from a puppy. I mean, as a puppy and still now. But she'd go wild and start running around and stuff and jumping on the bed and jumping off, jumping on, jumping off, and doing just crazy stuff. And she'd bite her tail. Her tail would beat her. Her tail would, her back legs would pin her down. And anyhow, I was like, "You're crazy, like something out of a Ouija board." But before I could say board, she come running to me. So I got her away from me again, and I go, "Ouija." And she turned around and took off running to me. So that's how she named herself.
I do think they picked their humans.
Boy, she did me.
Yeah.
But I think what happened there was I knew the mama dog, right? She used to walk like, 17 miles a day just all through the wilderness and had one of her daughters walk with her. They were a team. They were like that for years. Well, she got pregnant and I used to talk to her and she was kind of like my dog is now because, she came from her. But I'd call her, "Hey, mama dog," and I'd pet her and stuff. And she was one of those dogs when she was done petting, she'd just walk off, and you couldn't hold her still. Well, I think what happened was Ouija must have in her stomach heard me, you know what I mean, and realized I was a good guy. I don't
Yeah.
know. And then the first
You mean
time that she
in
heard me
utero?
after she was 6 weeks old, she recognized me.
I believe anything also in utero can hear you and feel the vibrations and energy.
Yeah.
But I really do think you captured a little entity in that cave, by the way.
I'm gonna tell you, I've captured dadgum. I'm getting static on this end. It's me. It's not you. I don't figure out what to put this up. But anyhow, what was I saying? Oh yeah, I was taking some close-ups of one of them dragon eyes where I've got a. It shows that thing I got a picture of in the sky. But anyhow, there's little silver snake heads coming out of the edges of that thing. And they're like going over the top. It's like it's alive with some sort of like bluish, silverish looking snakes.
Like the snakes in that piece of rock amber or whatever.
Yeah, I mean, it looks like the head shape and everything, but it's silver like color. It's shiny. And they're sticking out all around the edges. And then I found it looks like a kingdom's door going in. And if you go around the edge, you see another one that's a little bit more covered up. And then you go around and they're equally spaced. You can see these like kingdom doors. Well, I done found that in the coal. I done found that on that meteorite. you know, I'm
Oh,
finding it in the daggum Morocco, Google Earth images. It's crazy. I mean, I've got proof. I can
it's
prove it even showing the Earth
sounds like a
from
portal.
above. Well, if you look at Africa on that stone, it looks like there's a big old crack in the middle of Africa, and there's like snakes headed into that hole. And I'm wondering if that's the diamond mine. Africa's known
Oh,
for their diamonds, right?
yeah.
But I don't know where it's at. I'm telling you, man, my mind's too melted. I could tie all this stuff together, but I need to make like a 2-hour video and it'd be kind of like Discovery Channel.
Yeah.
I kid you not, it'd have to be because it's hard to explain.
Well, you do a really good job. I'm getting it.
Well,
I get it.
why?
If I get
I
it,
don't.
trust me. If I
My
get it, and I
problem,
think most people do.
my problem is why ain't anybody passing the word? I mean,
Well, I shared your video today of your CERN capture.
yeah.
That was amazing.
You
But
talking about the
that's
one,
completely, hmm
the one where I
that's
showed
completely
the
different.
sun and showed the sun flare?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's crazy because I
People are
mean,
amazed by that.
I caught the sun flare deal, and I'm like, man, that looks like a dude on the control panel, and you know what I mean? I got to look, and I was like, and it was later on. I'm talking about weeks later. I ran across the CERN picture, and it reminded me of what I'd done earlier. So I have like a photographic memory. I can remember images. It's weird. I hate that. But that's how I used to, in like school, I have to take a test. I'd just look at
Right?
a page in the book and I'd take a mental picture of it. And it was just like having the book with me. I could sit there and read that. I'm serious. I could read it in my
Boy.
mind. Huh?
I said,
No,
we
I've
love
been
you,
doing
John
that.
Boy.
But I've been
We
doing,
love
I
our
mean,
John Boy.
I'm crazy.
Crazy is a good
Oh,
thing sometimes. It's okay. You're pioneering stuff that I have never seen before, and I've been around. I've been here
I've
and
never
there.
seen it
Trust me.
before either. That's the whole problem. I've never seen it before either, so I don't know how to explain it.
Right? You're doing a great job. It's mind bending, mind pioneering, boggling stuff that I've never seen. It's insane. And it opens
Yeah.
up your mind to so many different things that you never thought of. Like I've
Well,
had my
look.
crystals for like 30 years and I've never thought to
Yeah.
take them in the, well, I actually put them in the sun to charge them, but I've never
Yeah.
thought to look through them with the sun and see what's inside them.
I don't know. I'm just weird that way. I guess because I took chemistry and physics in high school and stuff. And in high school, well, in the 80s, the first, let's see, what was it, like 84, 85 or something like that. I'm sitting there using electrolysis to separate water into oxygen and hydrogen. I was catching the hydrogen in a bottle. And then I'd sit there and
Oh my
light
gosh.
it up and pop it off. Yeah. And then in high school, in my high school, excuse me, in the high school yearbook, they had me listed in there as the rocket creator because I was doing big model rockets and stuff. I wasn't nobody else doing anything. You know what I mean? That was
Yeah.
back before. That was back. Let's see. I think you could get ping or pong, whatever it was called. You remember on your black and white TV?
Oh my gosh. Yeah. Like Atari.
Atari come later. Yeah, that was probably the 80s, wasn't it?
Yeah.
You know what's
Shout out
weird
to
though?
everyone in the chat.
Oh, I forget about the chat.
You know
I'm so
what?
bad.
I can't see the chat. Hold on.
Brando. Oh, you're okay. Jackie,
Um,
I don't know if I caught you earlier, Jackie. I mean, I don't have anybody I can talk to about this crap. And this
well, you
meteorite.
got us.
Well, look, this meteorite is what freaks me out too because it's actually got the continent of Africa in multiple different. And I don't know. See, that's why I need a daggone computer so bad. Because on this meteorite, I can show you the landscape of Africa, right? With the pyramid. You know how I was showing the clouds the other day, and I go, you'll see two pyramids and then a third
I
one.
saw them. Yeah.
Okay. On this meteorite, that same cloud pattern is on this meteorite in different sizes. Okay. That's what I'm telling you. This
Yeah.
meteorite is supposed to be from outer space, right? Well, if it is, why does it look just like everything else I'm seeing? You see what I'm saying? And the
Yeah.
way I've
They're
been
all
proving
interconnected.
people, well, check this out. The way I prove these snakeheads, they're like, well, it just looks like that. I go, it's kind of mud fossil like, but it's more on, I think it was like real hot crystals and they cooled down. You know what I mean? When it got his head cut off, it died and it just cooled. And, when it hit the ground or whatever, it got smushed like a mud fossil. I don't know. It's weird.
Yeah. So, did that guy Tyson, ever get back with you?
I never. What?
Oh, I
I
thought you
mean,
tried to contact him.
I did years ago, and I had some stuff that I found on a. Look, this guy did a homemade drone, right? That it was a big one that he was gonna. I can't remember. It was a big homemade drone that he was gonna fly in, but he did a test flight, and he was in the Ukraine somewhere, right? And he got that thing in the air, and he had cameras on it, right? And I'm sitting there looking at the ground, and I'm like, "What in the world?" It was like hexagon shapes, just hexagons everywhere, just everywhere. I can't remember what they were doing at the time, but they had shown that pattern, right? It was like, something skin stitching or something like that. You know what I mean? It was something to do with anatomy.
Right.
And let me think here. So I
Why
sent
is
in,
everything?
well, I sent them a link to that video and I told him to watch it. I gave him the timestamp so he didn't have to watch the whole thing because, I wanted him to see the meat of it. So I gave him a timestamp and told him what he'd see. That juror responded back and said, "That's nothing but concrete." I'm like, all right, you mean to tell me somebody's took the time to form hexagon shapes over 100 and something acres? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it wasn't in concrete color. It was grayish, blackish.
That's weird
And,
coming from him because even
yeah, well,
if you cut down a tree and the tree stump, the fibers in the tree are the ends of them are hexagon shaped. And stars that I
really,
see on Gina's channel, they're hexagon
yeah.
shaped. Everything is hexagon. Everything is a hexagon.
Yeah, I find the way I can tell dadgum eye lens is eye is you can see where like the pupil was, and this hexagon shaped. It ain't exactly round, but look, everything's made out of serpents. That's what I was going back to. If I find what looks like a rock the shape of a serpent head, right, I can look at that rock and find two serpents on its head, either by coloration or by a little lift. You know what I mean? And
Yeah.
that's how I know it's got to be for real because I'm catching these. It's like a hydra, all right? A hydra is itself. It's just a cell that produces itself over and over, and it can either collect together and become one big one, or it can sit there and separate and become millions of little ones. You know what I mean? That's a hydra.
Right.
Well,
And they
what
have
I think
tentacles.
is, yeah, and in Greek mythological times, there was a hydra, and it was a multi-headed snake. So that clicked with me. I'm like, all right, that's how come I'm seeing all these snakes. And if you look at that one I did about what was it called? The serpent injects venom into its creator's thumb.
Yeah.
If you look at that one, you see the daggum hydra right there is collected. You know those tentacles coming down?
Yeah.
They were okay, they were everything at once, if you can grasp this. They were tentacles, they were fangs, they were claws, but the fangs, claws, tentacles were made up of serpent heads coming down. But they were whole, they wasn't dead. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And I
I mean,
think
so
that finger in the sky, well, check this out, the finger in the sky part that got bit, because I can show that over the last year. I've taken pictures of the same scene, and I've seen other people with it on their videos. But what I think happened was we're seeing a science experiment that went bad, and this experiment sat there and bit his thumb, and he sat there and whacked his thumb off while he killed the experiment. But you can't kill a hydra.
that blows my mind. Okay,
I
that's
think we're
crazy.
stuck in a CERN. Yeah, we're stuck in some sort of like the past is under us and the future's above us, but our present is still in the ancient past that hasn't happened yet in the picture that's above us.
Right. But
If you,
didn't humans create a linear time? Aren't we the only ones that live in a linear timeline?
well, think about it. Everything's going forward. It's got to be. Unless you have the ability to go back in time, then you're in the fifth dimension or maybe sixth dimension. I don't know. I know we live in a three-dimensional
Well,
world
about the snakes,
with time as
you
being the
know,
fourth dimension. Yeah,
yeah,
the Sphinx.
we're entering into the fifth dimension, right?
Well, I don't know. It's not. I
Well,
mean, yeah, it's
okay,
above what we know. You know what I mean? It's another frequency on the dial.
okay,
It's
John,
another.
John boy,
Yeah,
you know about the snakes. Okay. So how you're
yeah,
finding snakes in your crystals and in the sky. I think the snakes and the crystal, or the snakes and the hydras, are related because they both have tentacles. They both can regenerate themselves
yeah,
and live forever, which is
yeah.
what the medical staff is with the snake going up the staff.
Well, I've seen
It's
that
it
image on the
represents
rock.
it represents infinity. It represents living forever. And there's something with the hydras, and there's hydras in the you know what,
Yeah,
hydras in the sky, hydras everywhere.
yeah.
It's pretty
They
scary.
are. Well, I mean, these daggum crystals. I can't explain what I'm trying to say. I mean, I've only got like 53 views on this one, and it shows it shows the man within the earth. I mean, there's a dude, the earth is cracking open. You can see the shell of the guy, and like there's two shells on top of the fleshy guy coming out of this globe, and that represents the world. And 53 views. Come on. I mean, if you can't look, and this is how this stuff works. If every language can understand these
Because they suck,
images, well, think
right?
about it. You don't need a language if you can show the same image and everybody gets the same meaning from it or close about,
Well,
you
those
know
are
what I
probably
mean?
the same people that are wearing masks.
Mm-hmm.
They're probably the same group of people. I mean, they're stuck in their own world and they're not willing to critically think for themselves and think outside the box and entertain any kind of new ideas or, or you know what I mean? Or even look,
Yeah.
do the research. Stuck. Oh, sorry, Dolly. Sorry, Dolly.
Well, I've been this way
It's
since
sad.
like
You should have way more views.
I know. I mean, I'm look, I don't care about getting a big channel or anything like that. You understand? I just care about people seeing this stuff because it ought to be like making people think. And then if they don't
Absolutely.
believe it, figure out how I'm faking it. I'll
Absolutely.
invite I'll invite you here to my property, and you pick a spot, and I'll show you a daggum snakehead.
Right. And as far as I know, there's only a select few channels really doing something like that. Like you're totally pioneering this a
I
new
don't
thing.
look.
And
I don't.
you, G Willie, Butterbud,
Well, I hate to say this, but
it's just
look, all these channels you're naming, they're not going anywhere. I mean, they're keeping their
and
views
I
and
think
their viewing
also
hours up, but man, they're just showing
that's also
fancy,
YouTube.
shiny stuff and distracting. When you find hardcore truth
Yeah, and
like
that's also
this,
YouTube.
everybody should drop what they're doing and check this truth out because it solves the plasma ships. It solves the Hydra. It solves it all, man. The AI
Right. And I
intelligence operates in a dimension, and that dimension is the dimension in which God and the devil, that's the next dimension, right? The spiritual dimension, I guess you could call it. But that daggum AI stuck its mind out there, and the devil jumped in.
because this is his playground.
Yeah, well, he owns this earth. He can give you
We're in
all
the
the
system. We're in
kingdoms
the
of the
he's
world.
I think also YouTube is heavily censoring you, which
I
is
know
why
they
your
are.
views are lower. And hey, John Boy, I
I'm,
wanted to ask you, what is up with the helicopters? I don't get it.
I don't know. I ain't
Are
seen
they
that
gang
many
stalking
like
you?
that. Oh, I'm past all that anymore. I've got to the point I don't care. I just leave it to God. God to protect me, so I ain't worried about it. I've had some sort of like sonic weapons done on me. For real. I mean, I ain't gonna say that, but it's just weird. One day I did a live stream, and man, before I got out of my shop and to the house, it was like I got every bit of energy drained out of me. I thought I was fixed to die, man. I thought if I got off I wanted to lay down on the bed, right? But I was scared to take my feet off the ground or I'd die. I mean, that's how bad it hit me.
Right. You
So,
almost need to keep grounded nowadays.
well, what I think
Constantly.
nowadays they got drones and stuff, so they can just come and look. Half this stuff ain't man. Half this stuff in the sky is not. See, I could go back to
What do
that.
you think of it?
People are more entertained by seeing little dragon ships with little chrome projection domes on top of them than seeing the real history of the world.
I agree. I think that either you're being gang stalked because they know you're onto something, or it's a it's just a coincidence that they're constantly flying over your house, but I don't think there's any
Oh,
coincidences.
have you look? Have you seen the video of where I had the what was it now? The Louisiana Laboratory of Research called me up to give me a survey, and I happened to be doing a live when they called. So I had it on speaker, and I'm like, "Go ahead," and I had the phone right up to the mic. But it was a
Oh,
health survey, right? Yeah, in behalf of the Tennessee Health Department. I'm like, "All right."
oh,
Well, they
there's no
yeah,
way I would do that.
well, I did, but they asked me how I identified, and I told them I was a lesbian trapped in a man's body, and they
Oh
asked
my
all
god.
sorts of questions. Yeah, and then they started
Oh,
asking, "Do you have paths and walkways around your property?" I go, "Well, yeah, some coyote paths, some deer paths. Which ones you want to talk about?" I was playing as country as could be with this guy, and
why
anyhow,
do they want to know
eventually,
what paths? That's
well,
kind of
look,
private, right?
uh, well, look. Then he goes, um, "Do you have any guns, and where do you keep them?" I go, "I thought this was a health question. What are you doing asking
What the
about
heck?
guns if you're doing a health survey?" Yeah, I mean, I got the whole thing's on the live stream I did probably a year and a half, 2 years ago. And check this out.
Is it
A
still
week
up?
later, a a week later, they called back, and they were doing a post survey. That's when I let them have it.
Wow.
Yeah,
Good.
that's when. And dude couldn't answer anything. And check this out. What was so weird was somehow I called no another YouTuber. I wrote my number down by one digit wrong, right? It was like the last digit. And he sat there and tried to call me, and I was just like doing a live stream private with him. And something happened with the audio, so we're gonna call each other. And he called me when we did, because I gave him a digit off, right? And he told me when he called it, it was some sort of army base. I'm like, huh? He goes, yeah, they answered like Sergeant so and so or something like that, U.S. Army. And I was like, really? It's just one digit off from my number, huh? So
Hmm.
when I got off the phone with him, yeah, I
That's
called
very
that
sus.
number. Well, look, I called that number, and this dude answered, and it sounded just like the same dude that gave me the health survey, and then called back for the post health survey. Yeah. Is
None
that
of that sounds normal
coincidence?
to me. None of that sounds normal at all whatsoever.
Yeah.
There's something very suspicious about that, I dare say. It sounds like they're like stalking you or something. Not that I'm paranoid or anything, but it seems really bizarre.
Well, that's why I change up my routines. I'll make it look like I got a routine, and then I'll throw it off. I had a guy one, and
If
I've
you
done that all my life.
I mean, why? What kind of relevance is a health department asking you about guns? There's no relevance
I
in that.
know. Hey, I even called them back and left messages for their head person because I asked. I can't remember. This happened a while. Man, what I got? Motorcycle. This happened a while back ago, so I don't remember the lady's name, but I got mad when they called back for the post survey. Or, that
Yeah.
makes any sense. And I was like, look, I want the number to your boss or whoever your daggum teacher or whatever, because, they're supposed to have been the Louisiana Laboratory Research, LSU or something. So what I figured
Yeah.
was, or is, and this is how I figure it now. I've got fake AI bot channels acting like they're channels, and then you got other people that are real, but they're really for the government, and they infiltrate. And I already know this. I've been through it before. I don't know, 5 years ago. I can't remember. I've been on Marpugles like 3 times and never gained a subscriber. I've been on
Who?
Third Phase of
Marfugo?
the Moon. Yeah, I've been on his shows, his
Really?
stuff.
I like Third Phase
Yeah,
of the Moon.
I've been on Third Phase of the Moon, talked to Naughty Beaver. They were having a podcast one time Naughty Beaver was with Steve Olson and somebody else. I can't remember who the other person was. That's Steve Olson, WSO. He used to use a lot of my stuff on his channel. That gun Blue Kool-Aid, or, now Wages World. He's used some
Yeah,
of
I've
my
heard of
stuff. Well, a long time ago, I don't know how many years ago, 6 years ago, I caught that, what they were calling a lens flare, was behind the chemtrail. And you could clearly see the chemtrail was in front of the lens flare. And that's what got me to watching that lens flare, because there's no way it could stay. I ain't lying, I've dedicated, I don't know how many hours a day to the sky, and I can't help it. I'll be minding my own business, and
But
something will say,
you're
go outside, look up, go outside, and I'll do it, and there it is. I'm just sick of it.
I know. It's almost like it's stalking you.
Well, I've been dealing with this stuff for
Well,
years. I'm like, screw it. Because 2 years, or I stopped looking at the sky for 2 whole years because I told my dad what I saw in the sky one day, right? And he told me I was crazy and I needed to be in a mental hospital. And I'm like, okay. So I just stopped looking at the sky. Well, then I was going to prove they were chemtrailing. Then I realized they're not really chemtrailing. And then I was like, you know what? Since I'm here already, let me try to get that thing. I seen this thing look like a Klingon looking through a hole in the cloud up by the sun, and I was using binoculars. That thing frowned at me and jerked its head back, and that hole filled in with the clouds like it was sucking in behind him, yanking his head back. It was crazy.
so
So
it's
that's
like
what made
it's a
me
whole
start.
nother
We're at a daggum science experiment, or we're at the fair and we're an exhibit, and people are coming up and looking in. Is how it started out. I
right.
think I got pictures of it. Looks like kids holding cell phones up, taking pictures. Yeah, from like 2014. I got pictures of that. I started seeing these rectangles, and I was like, "Why am I seeing these rectangles?" And then I started realizing behind the rectangle, you can see the dude's head. But it wasn't up till, I don't
Right.
know why, all of a sudden my editing, all I do is mess with the colors, right? And the crazy thing is, I go in editing, not expecting anything, just seeing what shows up. And then I find so much, I can either keep going deeper into it and show something totally different, and then go deeper in that and find something even more different. You know what I mean? Or do I just back out on
Yeah,
the
and it's
first layer? Well, I mean, like this stuff in the clouds, it looks like Egyptian Mayan stuff. But if you look behind the clouds, it looks like a CERN laboratory.
yes, because I think that we live in a holographic universe and there's a whole nother realm that's we're in a circuit board that we're
Okay.
like being
Yeah.
controlled
Yeah.
from
We're
another
we're a daggum.
realm,
We're a program. We're binary code.
and then we yes, and there's there that we're glimpsing into the other realm, and that's why we see these
Well, my problem
things
is
in the sky,
I'm starting to
those
have deja
glitches.
vu. I'm starting to have deja vu that was from a few months ago. It's like I don't know how to explain it, but I mean, I used to have deja vu and it was a weird feeling. Now it's just a quick. Yep, we're getting there. We're getting closer.
Yeah,
That's why I'm
yeah, I
trying to get
think
this
deja
out and
vu.
let people know. Hello.
Yeah, I think deja vu is like a you're entering into a you're like shifting into another
Oh,
realm
I've
of
done that.
something that you've already had happen.
I felt myself come out from beside me, but I was still here in this time, right? But I felt some of me leaving out. I'm like, no, and it come back. I've had that happen twice. Yeah. I mean,
Wow,
it sounds
like an out
crazy.
of
But no, it was it was yes and no because I wasn't leaving my body. I was still in here, but some of me was getting or some to me it felt like a time blend. It was me, but I don't know how to explain it.
well, there's something because when I was in Salem, Massachusetts, and I was in their evidently it was their oldest graveyard. I was with my friend who had a house in Cape Cod, and on our way to her house, we stopped at the graveyard, and I was reading this headstone, and it was upside down, so I was kind of turning
Yeah,
around to be able to read it, and I literally felt three pokes or whatever,
yeah.
something poking me on my hip, and nobody was around me. There was nobody even close to me. And so something from another realm, another dimension or something poked me 3 times. So there's something to it.
Yeah, see, people are too busy
There's
trying to
something. There's
listen to the experts. So they'll say, well, we saw paranormal investigators say that there's no way they can physically. Yeah, there is. They can, depending on how much energy they got over there, they can make enough electrical impulse to make you feel a pressure. You know what I mean?
other
I'm,
side,
I'm
there's other
telling you,
realms,
look,
dimensions. There's got to be.
the neutrino, that thing I've been talking about. They found the God particle and some other particle in neutrino they call the ghost particle. I believe, and this is how I
Right.
see it. All that neutrino particle, God particle, whatever. That is God's living word. That is from the originator of everything. You know what I mean? And it's like
Yeah.
a fabric that everything exists on. And I mean everything, including hell. You know what I mean? The devil and all them. But
Yeah.
everything's attached to that, including us. So we're like one with everything, and everything's one with us. Because I guarantee you, we could probably look at a piece of our bone underneath a microscope and see what we're seeing on these rocks and stuff. It's just weird to say it, but
Now
we're
that would
made
be
out of
interesting.
this earth. Well, think about it. We're made out of the clay of the earth. So we'd have to be, if I'm figuring out the whole earth is made out of the same reputation of snakeheads. See, these snakeheads, a snake can squeeze through the smallest of holes, so this hydra is made up of itself. You see what I'm saying? And they wrap around each
Right.
other. They're like, like the biggest head of it is trillions of little heads making that big head. And the fang, and even the feathers. The feathers are serpents. Oh, it's hard
Do
to
you have a
grasp your
piece of
head on.
bone? Do you have
I
an
don't
animal
know.
bone or something you could take a look at?
Well,
That would be
my live stream I did the other day in the woods where I started the campfire. If you look at that live stream, at one point, all the leaves and everything look like skulls and bones and stuff. So I figure, yeah, a regular bone would probably look like that too.
I'm sure, John Boy, if you found a bone, you would be able to see something in it,
Yeah,
find something in it.
look, have you ever seen What's in Fire? Have you ever filmed fire?
Yeah. Yeah, especially when La Palma was going off. I captured a bunch of
Oh,
faces and
man, yeah, I
anomalies.
saw that. Yeah. The same stuff that's in the clouds is coming out of the earth. That's why they're in the clouds, because
Right. And
they're coming back. You see what I'm saying? I'm glad you made that point.
right.
That's what's
And a lot
going
of people
on. I mean, yeah.
right. And a lot of people catch anomalies and faces and things in people's hair. Look, I'm trying to look at my dog's hair. People find have you ever seen that?
Yeah. Well,
Where
my
there's
pit bull, look, my pit bull, the last one I had, I named him Rat because he had an image of a rat on like 5 different spots of his body. It was crazy.
that's very and you named him Rat. That's so funny.
Well, it looked like kind of like a Mickey Mousey, you know what I'm talking about? He had it on his back, he had it
Yeah.
on his face, he had it on his chest, he had it on his sides. I mean, it was just weird.
Yeah.
And I thought, well, my first thought was actually Mickey Mouse, but I didn't want to call call him Mickey Mouse. So I was like, I'll just call you Rat. And then if people ask,
Aw.
why'd you name him Rat? I'd say, because all the Mickey Mouses on them. They won that rounded of ears, though, you know what I mean? But I think
Yeah.
he's in
What kind of
Ouija.
dog?
It's weird.
Was it a
What's
rat
that?
terrier?
No, he was a pit bull. He was a pit bull.
Was it a rat terrier? Oh, pit bull.
Yeah, pit bull.
Aw.
You know what was weird about? I told that story the other day on the live stream. But he walked off and died, I guess, and I couldn't find him for 3 days. And when I did find him, he went and laid down and died on the very spot that he slept here the first night ever. Is that not weird?
Aw.
So I
Aw.
buried him
That's so
exactly where he
precious.
died at. Yeah. I got his favorite blanket,
Aw.
moved him and put him on the
Oh.
blanket. Then I dug the hole right where he was laying. And then I wrapped him up like a mummy and
Oh.
laid him in there.
Yeah,
What
you know
was
what's
weird
weird?
though?
People
What?
what? That
Well, I was gonna say
why
I
is
know he
it that
was dead.
people
We got time left.
oh
But what I was gonna say is when I was putting the dirt on him, he did a snore like he used to when he was sleeping, and I almost dug him back out, but I knew he was dead, so I went ahead and kept, covering him up. But
how could
that
he
was
make a
weird.
noise?
I guess the air in his lungs and the way the dirt pushed air out through his lips, and he sat there and sounded like he was snoring.
Oh my god, I hope he was I hope
He
he
was.
was
He was
it's
stiff.
so
I
sad
mean,
to
he was
say,
dead,
but
cold. Yeah, I know. I mean, I almost dug him up. I'm like, I know he's dead. I know he is.
Okay, what I was going to say is that I think it's weird how humans want to never die alone, but animals do.
Yeah. Well, they don't want somebody to watch them go.
Animals
I
want to be
wouldn't. I
alone.
don't want anybody to watch me go. You know what I mean?
Well, yeah. Um, I think people time their own deaths. I mean, unless it's a freak accident. Like, um, like my husband who had Alzheimer's, he was really sick and we had a bed for him in the living room. And he and then my son, our son, who was only 7 at the time, he went to go to his friends. The first time I would ever allow him to go somewhere overnight, but it was for his little school, and it was a little birthday party. And that night, husband my husband died.
Mm.
So
Well, yeah.
I woke
I
up in
mean,
the
I
morning,
hate
and
that,
yeah.
but yeah, that's probably God knows what He's doing. You know what I mean?
So
Things
yeah,
happen
I
for
just
a
feel like
reason.
he picked the time. Yeah, I feel like he picked that time because my son Michael was away for the first time ever. You know,
Yeah.
it was kind of strange, and I didn't even think
Well,
about that until
what did it do to your son
a
though?
long
I
time
mean,
later.
he don't feel like because he left it happened, does he?
No, I think no, and I didn't place any kind of thing in his brain that would even
Okay.
have him think about that. Like uh-uh.
'Cause, see, that's what we're going through around the world. They're brainwashing everybody, and instead of just staying in the reality of real truth, love and compassion for people,
Yeah,
it's just I
I
don't know.
wouldn't give him any kind of suggestive
Right.
idea, like ideas to put in his head. Like it is it was what it was, and he, I on the car ride when I went to go pick him up, I just said, "Daddy had to go do stuff in heaven," and I don't know
Yeah.
what I said, something like that, and he was okay. He was okay, and then I never said anything like, "Do you miss Daddy?" or anything.
Yeah.
Not to suggestively put things in his head. Like I just
See,
kind of
I
let
dated a
him
girl
deal with
one
it his own
time.
way.
Yeah. I dated a girl one time, had a son that was like, he was 19, right? His dad killed himself when he was like a year and a half old, right? He's held on to this story all his life. He's a poor, kid that doesn't have a dad. I mean, daggum, it happened before you even knew you had a dad, and he's gonna run a storyline like he get people to feel pity for him.
That's sad.
Yeah.
To be able to have to make up a story.
Well, I mean, how did that become his life story? Must have been because the mom and the grandparents are always talking about the poor boy's not gonna have a father in his life. You know what I mean? And he probably heard
Yeah,
that growing up, and then he felt like, hey, I get things about, you know. And you know what's
yeah.
weird? I'm looking out my shop door and I'm looking at these leaves and I'm seeing the little faces that peek over the clouds out here in the leaves. That's crazy, man. I'm tired of seeing this stuff.
Well, it's almost 70 degrees here in Indiana, and it's the first warm day we've had.
Indiana.
Lots of corn, lots of corn, lots of
Is it
cornfields,
flat up there or
and
what?
Amish.
Yeah, we
Hmm?
got Amish around here. They're pretty cool.
Yeah, they're
Well, they're
cool.
not the
And
Amish Amish.
oh, these are Amish here. These are
Oh, well, these got, tractors and stuff and cars. But they're their own little. They're
oh,
like Mormons, I think. No, they're Mormons, I think is what they are. They wear the
oh yeah,
dresses with
that's
the
different.
bonnets. They're not
Yeah,
Mennonites.
that's
We
a
used to have
little different.
Mennonites and stuff. Yeah, we used to have Mennonites, and they believed that you could have a car, but it had to be black, no chrome on it, stuff like that.
And I don't think the Amish are that crazy for not
No,
involving technology in their life because they say that they don't believe in it because it brings through demons in the technology. It brings demons into their life, into their
it,
house.
it have to, because
And so that's
electricity
why.
put yeah, electricity puts off like frequency. You can look at it like that, and that
Yeah,
frequency is not natural. I mean, I used to be able to
right.
tell. I had a TV that you could turn off with the cable box, but it didn't actually turn the TV off because I could still hear it going. You know what I mean? And I'd come in the house and I'd
Right.
be like, I'd ask my girlfriend, I go, didn't I tell you to turn the TV off? She goes, I did. I go, no, you didn't. She goes, yeah, I did. I'd walk over there. I go, you didn't hit the power button on the TV. Didn't hit the power off on the TV because it stayed on. It just had a black screen. And I can hear electronics like that. It's weird.
They're basically scrying boxes. They're scrying mirrors.
Hmm. Yeah, it's
They're
for the
ways.
look, that stuff that's up in those
Mhm.
clouds is using some sort of technology that's like electronics, but it's dimensional. So that's how I figure it's got to be the AI up here in our clouds. Look, the AI has already read every book ever written on this planet like 10, 12 years ago or better, right? It's already looked at every picture ever painted. It's went through every encyclopedia. This thing is bored. I mean, people don't get it. The AI is why we're having problems right now.
Do you think AI could have written our Bible?
You know, that thought crossed my mind a few different times, but I don't know. I mean, actually, that thought crossed
I
my
mean,
mind yesterday when I was looking at these stones, and I'm like, I mean, surely, because look, these stones are showing Greek mythology, right? And the Bible's showing this world era, I mean, there's definitely been different eras, and they either reset and started over. And, I don't know how to explain it. I've been trying to figure it out. But if you look at The
so a lot of
Simpsons
people.
predicting,
Yeah.
well, I was going to say, if you look at The Simpsons predicting Trump going to be the president, right? And he's coming down the
Right.
escalators. Well, on the on the cartoon, it showed somebody drop a sign they were holding while, Trump was going down the elevator. In real life, when Trump was going down the elevator, somebody dropped a sign. I mean, how can you predict that 15 years ahead of time? Exactly like that. I mean,
There's no coincidences. There's no coinky dinks. But oh my gosh, what was I going to say? Um, brain fart. Brain fart.
I have them
I
all the
can't
time.
remember what I was going to say. What were we just talking about? Darn
I
it, I
don't
can't
remember
remember.
because I
Oh,
can't.
I was going to say that. Okay, I remember. Evidently, you know how we're supposed to be colonized by the Anunnaki, right?
No, because I think the
So a
Anunnaki
lot
is
of
what
people
we're
think
seeing in the sky.
right. So a lot of people think that we were colonized by Anunnaki, and Anunnaki is essentially the alien race, the demonic alien race, the the Elohim.
I think the Anunnaki
So
story is just another form of the same story we know. There's a creator and then there's an opposite of him. Does that make sense?
Right. But if it's true that we were colonized by a demonic race, then the Bible would be their tool, their AI tool, right? Like a
I,
slavery,
yeah.
like a tool, like a slave tool.
What's okay? Yeah, I thought about this, and I thought about this today when I was looking at those rocks. I was like, all right, and I better shut up. But which, I mean, all right,
No.
we got two people. We got the God, the Creator, and then we got the devil wanting to be better than God, right? All right, I kind of
Yeah.
got stuck on this. I'm about good and truth and all, but think about it. The other one's about have a good time, and I don't know, man. I'm looking at it like, now, which is the better one? If you were, I mean, I guess it depends on if you believe in truth and love more than you believe in having a good time. You know what I'm saying? Then you pick God. And if
Right.
I don't know, man. I'm just sitting there trying to look at it like that. I
I
go,
don't
all right,
either.
which would you rather have for a boss? This guy that's strict over here that wants you praying to him all the time, or this guy over here don't care if you kick back a six pack? Which one?
Um,
That's why I didn't want to say it like that. Does that not sound bad?
right. But
But what
here
boss would you rather
we have
have?
duality. Well,
Right.
everything is about duality.
Right.
And there's good, there's bad, there's light, there's dark, blah, blah, blah. But, and it's also perception and
Mm-hmm.
has to do with perception and frequencies and what frequency you're on and what
Mm-hmm.
frequency you're vibrating at. And I don't know. I don't know. I feel really bad saying this, but I don't know about the Bible. And nobody really
Well,
knows where it came from.
you got to look at what the Bible where it came from, as far as the King James version. That guy was writing spell books and stuff. He just took a little time to write the Bible in the midst of all his other black magic. So who's
Yeah.
to say? Who knows? King James might have been a
I mean,
dude from 2020, 2066 that went back in time to be King
yeah,
James. Took
right.
care of King James when he was 5 years old. Hey, was able in
There's so much deception.
2066, he could put on the King James meat suit because they done got his DNA, went back and got his DNA, made a clone body, put the intelligence into that new 5-year-old, King James boy, go back in time, kill the boy, and replace him with a clone, a AI clone.
That's some deep stuff, John boy. That's some deep stuff.
Well, that's
Oh
where
my
I'm at,
gosh.
and I'm going deeper and deeper and even deeper.
Hey, that was cool. Cool effects.
Oh man,
You know what
no,
though?
that's what I'm saying. Go ahead.
About okay, so here. We're we're on this plane that is full of deception, lies. We've been lied about our history, um, and they've made an effort to do so and hide truth. And this is the devil's playground, evidently, right?
Well, look,
So
I have seen stuff. You know that video I put up about the black raven? If you look at
yeah,
that video, I mean, Ivan, that's why I need a computer so bad because I can't get all this stuff on this phone and it don't have memory now, period. But in that, I enhance snapshot, screenshots because for some reason I get a couple of extra, control knobs, right? So I can do a little more. with a still shot instead of a video. You know, video, I don't have those two options. But anyhow, I got to looking at that, and basically depends on how you layer down into there. You can see babies with these cap things on their head with hoses coming out of them. And I have found images of grown people with the helmet on and hoses coming out of them. But if I tweak the colors a little more, one of the babies turns into a pregnant woman having a child, and there's a dragon sitting there eating the kid while it's coming out. And then you got like these council of
Is this a
people.
video?
No, this is a screenshot. That's what I'm saying. I need to make a video of it, but I don't have the memory to do it on my phone. That's why I need a computer so bad. But
That's why we all need to pitch in. Did you ever link your PayPal account?
it was in this StreamYard. It should have been in the other one. But anyhow, what I was saying was
Dang, I
where
would love
she was where she was having these kids at. It's part of the cloud ships for seeing in here. You just go deeper and deeper into that. All right, if you saw my circuit board video, that was from what 2017. The things that the fleeted whatevers that were in Jackson, right? And there was a dome hanging down. Really, it's an orb, and I'm calling them reality bubbles. They're orbs. You know these orbs we're seeing. The Earth is one of those
Yeah.
out here with a whole bunch of other one of those. And you talked about the holographic universe. Well, this is how it's done. You ever heard of buckyballs?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. Think about it. The Earth's in the center of this buckyball, and they're projecting in. That's how come these crystals are projecting out, because whatever happened that killed that thing or whatever, it froze time in its eyes, and that's why you see what you see. I think you see what it remembers in the past up to that point of destruction, if that makes sense. But you know, who am I?
There's something up with the buckyballs
Mm-hmm.
and orbs.
Mm-hmm. And
Um, like a year ago, G Willie uploaded this video where there were these orbs and or it was light. It was a ball of light and then it exploded, I think, into an orb or something. It was really weird.
hey, Pooh. Uh-oh. I went in another dimension. He put up a video where an orb exploded in the tree line, and for a
Yeah.
brief second, and I explained that on another one, but what happened there, that was one of those things popped into reality, right? And it was already watching that camera, looking through that camera at where it was manifesting. And that camera caught an image of itself from the outside before it went in it. And I keep trying to tell G, well, that video right there, if you could sit there, I mean, it ain't my video to push and say, hey, you know, stop and study it. That's what needs to happen with that one. And it was a stretched out version of itself, is because it's been in space, time, everything. It's dimensional, man. But it watched it was already in the AI, or it was watching itself from the orb through the AI, you know, through that camera, and somehow it was. It is hard to explain. You can see the camera see itself.
That's crazy.
I mean, can you know what I'm trying to say? The camera saw
Yeah.
itself from the outside if you were standing there looking at it. So, you know, I'm like,
That's
okay.
insane.
But he just he passed that on by. That and there's probably 40 videos ago.
I don't know. they want us to merge and be the AI. They want everything to
Yeah.
be AI.
Well,
Everything.
that's why they're jabbing folks. But this rock, right, or not rock, really, it's like three crystal skulls. I don't know if you can see that. And I got a little filtering going on. But anyhow, this is the. Oh, can you see the skull right there? Yeah, if I get the light right. There's one
What?
skull there. I tried to do this. There's they're kind of smashed, but there's three skulls smashed together, and they're all skulls within skulls within skulls, and it ain't snakes, but it kind of is. But this is the one I saw Africa on. I was trying to get pictures of the skulls, and you move a little this way or that way, get the lighting right so you can see the definition. And next thing I know, I'm seeing Africa. I'm like, ain't no way. So I sat there and got to where I could get the shot, in the camera, and I took the picture. And then I come in my shop, so I can get out of the sunlight or whatever, so I can see the string better. And I'm like, if that daggum Morocco dragon is on this rock, that's gonna cement it for me. And I sat there and I zoomed in, and dadgum, if that daggum rock did not have a map of Africa on there with the daggum Morocco dragon and everything. I'm talking about mountain lines and the whole texture of that continent or country, whatever you want to call it. So how do you explain that
It's
away?
yeah, I don't know because it's an imprint.
Yeah,
Everything is imprinted
yeah,
in one way or the other. But John, I have one thing to
yeah.
say.
What?
Dadgummit.
Yep.
Dadgummit.
You you can't make this stuff up.
No, you can't make it up. You just can't make it up. But I
If I
mean,
could just,
do you ever go to We Are Awake News with Ian? He
we are
talks about
awake.
AI.
Well, I'm past
He
AI.
he. Well, right. Yes, but
I've been telling
like
everybody
what
about
he's
AI for years, is what I'm telling you. I've been telling everybody the AI is the reason why we have internet, and cloud storage is what floats above us.
yeah, but he's saying why is everyone worried about Putin right now when we've got a war with these frequencies
Oh no,
hitting us
it's
up
all
all day, every day.
distraction. It's all distraction. The
Right.
way I see it, there's nothing I can do about anything going on in this world, so I'm not even gonna worry about it. I'm worried about what I'm gonna do with me, and I'm not even worried about that because I'm pretty satisfied.
That's good. All we need are doggies.
Well, look, I've been to heaven one time for like 3 seconds, so I know what it's like.
Well, what happened?
I hit a deer with a motorcycle at
Oh my
65
gosh.
mile an hour. Yeah. Yeah, I was wrapping this corner out. I was doing 85 when I went in the corner, and it was nighttime, and it was a corner that I needed to use the wrong side of the lane, all the way over to the edge. But
Oh
I
my
wanted to
gosh.
see and I was a quarter mile from the house, and I sat there, and it was night, so nothing was coming, so I knew I could do it, and I just sat there and opened it up, and I went into that corner doing 85. And I was halfway through the corner, I'm starting to let the bike come back up, and the headlight shined on a deer. I was like, no. And it was eating grass, and it looked up at me. And right then and there, you know what? My first thought was, so this is how I'm going to die. And that
Of
deer
course.
jumped out, and I was fixing to hit his nose with the gas handlebar, the gas grip, and it jumped one more time right into the front tire and twisted the handlebars around while I'm in the corner still, and it turned it more into the, somehow it slung and flung, and anyhow I hit that deer. Look, I saw that deer. This is why these eyes are so amazing to me. Because when I hit that deer, the last thing I remember seeing of that deer was my head was going toward its eyeball, and it was a big black eyeball, and I could see it looking at death. And then bam, I hit the deer, and then I was in a place that had, I mean, love was going through me. It was in me. It was around me. It was just like living love. It was just like crawling all over through me, everything. And I was cradled in the arms of my creator. I didn't see his face, but I felt the love, and I've never felt that kind of, it was like pure love. And then I thought, about 3 seconds went by, and it was kind of like a sky bluish light, but not that bright. It was kind of dim, but it was bluish. It's like a blue night light glow, I guess. And then I thought, well, that wasn't so bad. And next thing I know, I'm bouncing down the road. Yeah, I
And
was
did you go to the
still me
hospital?
when I went up there. Oh yeah, yeah. They wanted to medevac me out on a helicopter, but some guy down in Mississippi hit a deer at the same exact time as I did. And we both wound up at the med in Memphis at the same time. What's the
Wow.
odds two guys hit two different deers in two different states at the same time
It
and
could,
wind up at the
I don't
same
know.
hospital? And
It could
guess
have been your
what? It was the
doppelganger.
first day of summer. I ain't figured the numbers up yet, but it was what, 06, 21, 03. Yeah. I don't know if those
Well,
numbers mean anything.
we're glad you made it through it, John,
Oh,
alive.
that's not my only brush with death.
Oh my gosh. What happened?
Oh, just, close calls. But nothing that dramatic where I really did. I ain't lying, man. I know I was gone. I know where I was at. I mean, but I guess I wasn't ready. Because, I mean, the first thing they hear me think or say up there is like, that one so bad. He ain't done yet.
Right. And you're lucky. Some people go to hell. Some people
All I know is don't go toward the
visit
light.
hell in a near death.
Don't go toward the light. That's a trick.
I thought you're supposed to go towards the light.
That's the lie that keeps you in this cycle. Where I went, there was no light to go to. You're there in your creator's arms instantly, feeling all the love. Wasn't no light.
Um,
But
I can tell you my only near death experience, and it was terrifying. And I was driving down the highway going 80, and this was in the 90s. So it wasn't, you weren't supposed to go 80.
yeah, 55
And
was.
yeah, yeah, but I was a lead foot. So I was going 80 and I fell asleep and I felt this extremely, extremely cold, icy sensation on my arm. And it was
Yeah,
my dog that nudged me awake.
I,
So I don't know
I,
how my dog, Sunshine, knew I was asleep because it was only for, you know, it wasn't that long, but
well,
somehow
God
this dog
uses
knew.
what he, something would, God would have woke you up for something happened too, but he used the dog. I had one
Yeah.
time, no lie. I fell asleep one time and went off the road, and I was sideways fixing. I was fixing to wreck really bad. I mean, all right, I'll put it to you. This is how sideways it was. The original highway was 2 lane and went over real hilly terrain, right? Well, they done graded the hills down to the right to make in for the 4 lane coming through, right? So it was like a 40-foot, 50-foot drop to the bottom. The ass end of my car was already over that edge, and I'm sitting there pointing up. And I'm not lying. I don't know. I mean, I don't know if I just felt it, but it felt like a hand reached down and picked my car back up and set it on the daggum highway. I was gone. The only thing left on the shoulder was my front tires. Yeah. And something picked my
Oh my
car up and
gosh.
put it back on. I didn't do it. There is no way. I was gone. I was past the point. Because, I mean, I was
Well,
headed off
it
the
was probably
edge I was headed off the edge so fast that when I woke up and saw what was happening, because I heard the gravel crunching, right? And then you only had 3 foot to the drop off. I snatched that car and it was a 78 Z28. And when I snatched it, the
oh,
ass
haven't heard that
end
in a long
went
time.
on over. The back tires were hanging over. You know what I mean? It was going off, and it picked up.
Yeah.
I mean, it was like it felt like somebody, like I was in a model car and somebody picked it up. A big kid picked up the car and set it down.
It
Ah,
was angelic intervention.
yeah,
It had to
that I
be.
know that was. Yeah, I was gone.
Oh man, you've got 9 lives.
It's more than that. But this is the last one. I'm telling you. I know it is.
Dadgummit.
Yeah. Now you see
Dadgummit,
why I say.
Sean.
Now you see why I say that so much.
I know. I don't blame you.
It's crazy. You know what the strangest thing I found in the woods today? I'm kind of jumping subjects, but I'm still thinking about it and I don't understand why. I mean, why I found what I found. I found a daggum possum laying there dead, right? And I found
Oh,
I found where some fur had been tore. It was right on the other side. I got this, I haven't put the picture up yet, but a tree fell down decades ago, right? And the roots were up, and the roots grew bark on them. I guess it lived long enough to grow, like decades. And it looks like a
right.
cluster of serpents. And I was sitting there getting some pictures of it and a little bit of video. And I went around it, and there's that dead possum. Now look, I'm in the middle of
Oh,
nowhere. What in the world kills something and doesn't eat it? You see what I'm saying? That's what's bothering me. I'm where no man has been in years, and this daggum thing is dead, laying there, not eating.
well, maybe they didn't have time yet to come get it. Maybe you got to it early.
No, wildlife usually eats it as soon as they get it.
Well, I know
Seriously.
vultures do.
Well, this thing, it got killed like last night, I think. It was fresh.
Well, possums
Or
do not possums do not carry rabies. And did you know that?
no, but I've never worried about it.
Yeah, well, possums do not carry rabies. Can't carry the rabies virus, and they're really, really, really smart.
Oh yeah. And they will kill your chickens. Believe it or not. I always thought they only ate dead
Chicken
stuff.
is yummy.
But look, I've raised a bunch of little possums, and when they open up their eyes, you know how most things, like a squirrel, open up his eyes in 6 weeks, right? A possum
Right.
they'll open up their eyes when they start chewing. So I had these little
Oh,
possum babies. They were a few days old, right? And I couldn't, I mean, there's too many of them. So I just started getting a spoon and letting them chew out of the spoon. And, man, those
oh,
jokers had their eyes open in 6 days. And then that's when I read up on it and found out they open up their eyes when they start chewing. they used to hiss at me and
And
stuff
another
when they
weird
got
fact
older.
about another weird fact about possums is they only live 2 years.
Really?
They have such short
No,
lives.
no,
Yeah.
no. I've seen one live longer than that. I'm
Well,
talking about
I think for the
uh,
most part,
maybe. Well,
I think for the
depends
most
on if
part,
they're near a highway.
true that.
No, I've seen old possums that I know 5, 6 years, and you know it's the same one. I lived in Oakland one time, and we had like a neighborhood coon that come through, and that thing was the size of a basketball. It looked like a coon swallowed a basketball, man. That sucker's
Kind of
so
like
fat.
kind of like this dog.
No, I mean, like that dog with a basketball in it. Yeah, my little dog got like that. I had to put her on a diet, and it took a while because I had to gradually do it. But she somehow or another, I don't get it. She went from what she normally eats a day to eating twice that much, and then went to 3 times that much.
These dogs lost their. They had to get some teeth extracted, so they
Yeah,
won't eat kibble. So I feed them organic chicken, and that's all they pretty much eat.
no, they're spoiled. Then.
But not for long because they're culling all the chickens. We have a chicken factory. You know Purdue? There's
Yeah,
a Purdue chicken factory here, and they're going to be killing them all if they haven't already.
for bird flu.
Yeah, they said there's a sickness. I can't use the word, but yeah.
Yeah, yeah, it's a bunch of bull. They're purposely trying to look. We're not going to see this shortage for a little while, but man, this fixed to be a worldwide shortage. Plus, the people that rolled up their sleeves are on a time bomb line, anyhow. You know what I mean? They ain't got long.
Right.
They're programmed to self destruct here in a few years, couple of years, I think.
And what's happening in Russia is going to create a food shortage big time here.
That's all what they're trying to do. It's already a food shortage. If you look at the last few years around the world, we're when we're in the wintertime and they're in the summertime growing, man, they're having monsoons and they're having tornadoes. They're having everything you can have that's destroying crops. And that's been happening for years. And now they purposely kill the pigs and they purposely kill the chickens. I think what they're doing
And
is they're trying to get the food that is still halfway good for you out of the system and their new brand of food that's got the edible jab in it.
yes, and a month ago, I heard on National Public Radio, they the potato farmers in Canada, they're making them there's evidently a potato
Oh,
virus. So, yeah.
yeah. You know what I think's going on? If the giants of the earth, the dead of the earth, or whatever, is supposed to rise up, right? Is that what I'm finding here rising up because there's so many of them now? And are those little silver snake things I'm seeing getting out and getting into the potatoes? You know what I'm saying? I
Yeah.
think it got into me. I'm
I mean,
serious, man. I see like serpent kind of shapes on my skin now. Is that not crazy?
yeah, but also there's tons of different types of parasites
Uh,
that we can get, but with the hydras in the sky and in our air being so infiltrated with different chemicals and being sprayed on the crops, it's in our food, it's in our bodies.
well, look at it like that. I can't get people to look at this perspective. All right, let's say how wide is the Earth supposed to be across? What's the diameter? Do you know?
Mm, what do you mean?
You know, how far is it from one side of the Earth to the other side? You know, just going straight across. Is it? I know it'd be longer going around it, but I'm just trying to say, is that diameter? My mind is gone. I used to do
I don't know.
chemistry and
I
everything.
don't
But
know, but
anyhow,
I
but look at it
I don't know,
like
but
this. Let's just say it's 3,000 miles across, right? Our atmosphere ain't but 7 miles high. So you make you a scale of 3,000 miles and then scale up 7 miles and draw you a line. They're doing all this stuff in that little area. People don't, I mean, from here to my dad's house is further than from here to out of the atmosphere. 50 miles. Think
I know
about it.
one thing.
Stack 10
The
miles up in the sky. That's how high they fly, right?
right. One thing is for sure, the sun is not 93 million miles away.
No,
It's local. Whatever it is, whether it's a simulator or not, which it is, but it's not 93 million miles away. Do they think
no.
we're that stupid to believe
It's
something like that?
it's part of our buckyball system. It's the projector. It's the
They must think
hole
that
in the
we're just a bunch of
buckyball.
dumb shits.
No, look, the sun is the hole in the top of the buckyball.
Yeah.
For real. It is. I mean, I've looked at it so many different ways. What we could be experiencing. Even though you
Yeah.
got these people that are hardcore flat Earth. I'm like, okay, because I've always said for all my life, I don't care if the Earth's flat around. I don't care. It doesn't affect me one bit. Because what I got to do doesn't matter if the Earth is either. You know what I mean? And I've been like
Yeah.
that. But these flat Earthers, I go, okay, where does the Earth exist in the reality of everything if it's flat? Is it sitting on a table? I mean, where is it if it's flat? Which
Well,
it doesn't look. This is how I figure. You know how everything's an opposite, right? Right now, I think maybe somewhere in this other realm we got tricked into going to this virtual physicality game, and we went in there and we're in a physical reality instead of a virtual reality. See what I'm saying? What if we are virtual and
right.
which we are spiritually, that'd be a virtual, but this is
We're
physical.
time travelers. We're time travelers. We travel
Yeah.
to different realms in our sleep. We travel to, different realms when we die, evidently, right?
Well, we only live in the present because by the time I tell you now is now, now is the past. See what I'm saying?
And
We're always
but
going
another thing
forward. We're
is,
never
right. So we're time traveling each second
right.
because in each second we're entering a new dimension.
But guess what? There's a dimension where how we see a second. Well, if we could see their second, it would be like a millisecond. Or if we could see their second, it'd be like an hour. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
That's how come these clouds move so slow because their minute hand is slower than our minute hand. So what takes, to make a 3-minute video, I spent 3 hours outside doing. You know what I mean? It's slow
Yeah.
motion in the sky, but then, you got stuff going faster. That's how eternity works. It's just micro to macro, the smallest to the biggest. I mean, you go as small. If we look at it like this, we're just an atom of something else. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and that saying how thoughts are things. Well,
Hmm.
if thoughts are things, then time time is only something that can move forward. So if thoughts are things, then we're entering a new dimension each second, because each second we have a new
Right.
thought, right?
Right.
So do you
Well,
see what I'm saying?
each second is never the present. I mean, how am I saying that? See what I'm saying? By the
Each
time I'm
second
trying to,
is you're entering into a new dimension.
yeah, but you're out of it just as quick as you went into it. You're just
Right, which is why we're time travelers.
right. I
In
think I
essence.
said that. I think I said something on that line weeks or on a live stream I did here recently. I said something about us being time travelers,
Yeah.
and that's what we are. But it's more than that too. I don't know. My deal is I've got like up in Jackson, I can get some good sky pictures up there, and I got one where this dude looks like he's holding a crystal globe in his hand like that, and he's looking into it. But if you look at him, it looks like he's got some sort of camera apparatus on one eye and stuff. I don't know, man. It's just too much. Oh, I forgot about the chat, y'all.
Hey, you got a lot in the chat. Hi, everyone. Shout out to everyone in the chat. Much love.
I'm bad about it. I don't go live anymore like I used to. I've done a 72-hour straight live before.
Wow.
Yeah, I went
I
to
don't know if I
bed
could do
and let
that
it.
mentally.
It was back during Hangouts on there.
Oh, Hangouts. Yeah.
Yeah, I'd just leave it up to the guys on the panel, and they'd keep it going, and then I'd get up later and come.
Hey, John, I have to get going, but I
All right.
wonder if someone else would want to come take my place.
Oh, it don't matter. I need to get off here and get something done anyhow. And if you happen to see Gina around the block, tell her, hey, look, check this crap out.
Okay.
She wants to get her mind blown. I mean, let's look at crystals that's got historical facts of the foundation of what we're on or in.
On and in.
But anyhow,
Absolutely.
but
I
yeah.
agree.
Well, it was nice having you
Well,
up here.
shoot.
And oh, I meant to ask you. You were talking about message. You don't practice witchcraft, do you?
No.
Okay.
No.
Well, you had the crystals and stuff.
Why?
No, I
Do I
met a
seem
real
witchy?
witch. No,
Do I seem witchy
I
and
met a
bitchy?
real witch. No, I met a real witch one
Oh,
time, and she sat there and told me my fortune. And when she got done, I looked at her and I just told her, "Well, you're right about a few things, but these two things right here," and I pointed them out to her, told her they would never happen, and told her why it never happened. That woman, look, she was wearing a black dress with black lace that went all the way to the black lace gloves she had on. She had like a black veil with the lace, she looked like Adam's family stuff, right? But she jumped up and pointed her finger at me and said, "You're a warlock," and took off out of
oh gosh.
there. Yeah.
That
And
would have
I'm
been
not a
time to
warlock.
go.
No, I just
Well,
accept life wherever it is. But
there
yeah, I know you
is
need to get off
like,
here.
well, there's good, just like, good and bad duality. I think that there's people who practice things that are not so bad. Like, I mean,
Right.
summoning demons and stuff like that. Those witches are bad to me. But
Well,
there's other people that
voodoo
like
works if you
do white
believe
magic.
in it. Voodoo and witchcraft, all that works, but you're selling your soul to that part of the fabric. You know what I mean? You can
Right.
believe in it, and it
But
is
there's
there. It is there to get if you want it. And if you believe in it, you'll believe you got curses put on you or you got healing magic. You see what I'm saying?
yeah. And there's universal laws and there's karma. So
Hmm.
whatever you put your energy into is what's coming into your realm of your life. But
Yeah.
um,
I've been trying to figure
I
that
just
one
try to
out
be
too.
um, I just try to be positive and bring good energy into my life. But I don't need tarot cards or anything
Right.
like a
Right.
tool
Right.
to use.
Right.
Um,
I guess that's how I am. Cause look at what I'm finding. Ain't none of that angelic, not godly, good. All that stuff in these stones are like evil, bad. It's I don't know how to explain it. It's Greek mythology. Uh-oh, you still there? But I know you gotta go. I'll talk all day, but I need to get off here myself. Your mic is muted for some reason. Yeah, your mic is muted. Ow. Bang bang. If you're talking, I can't hear you. Yeah, Sharon in the house. What's going on? You got those in the house. And I've been listening to that gum thing. I can't hear you bang bang because your that gum microphone is set on the mute. But yeah, I'm bad with names, but yeah, they're bang bangs, puppy dogs. Hmm. I don't know if she disappeared or what. It's like her frame, her thing froze. We'll just see. Oh, she's gone. All right. Oh, I'm back in the dimension. I'm losing my mind. Oh man, go. Yeah, I don't know what to. That's too much in there. Like I said, I need to finish up this daggum auger thing I started that I never did finish. Quit thinking about all this dimensional stuff and why. Just accept it. But yeah, bang bang. Thanks for coming up. Mike, some truth. Sharon, Jackie. Who else got up in there? This daggum Silver Dave. He's probably gone. Mike, I don't know if you're still here. Brando. I was just gonna do a little live and holler at folks and just, I don't know. It didn't really take my mind off anything. But yeah, it's all good. Look, guys, I'm gonna get out of here. I appreciate y'all coming by. We'll holler at you next time.